Let me ask you a hard question. Are you in control of your day, or is your day in control of you? Because for most people, the truth is uncomfortable. They wake up already behind. Their phone steals their focus. Their to-do list feels impossible. And by the time their head hits the pillow, they feel drained, yet weirdly unproductive. But here's what separates high achievers from everyone else. It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's not some superhuman talent. It's their ability to master their time. Time is the ultimate equalizer. We all get 24 hours. But how you use those 24 hours, that's the difference between average and extraordinary. So today, I'm giving you 7 real, practical, psychology-backed strategies to take control of your time and your life. And I'll be honest with you, this isn't about hustle culture or burning out. It's about intentional living. It's about learning to manage your time. So your time doesn't manage you. First, start your day on offense, not defense.
If the first thing you do is grab your phone, scroll through messages, dive into other people's agendas, guess what?
Your entire day becomes reactive. High achievers guard their mornings like gold. They protect their energy, set their priorities, and then they deal with the world. Because the way you start your morning, it defines your momentum. Second, master the 80-20 rule. Not all tasks are created equal. 20% of what you do creates 80% of your results. The rest, it's noise. High achievers know how to ruthlessly focus on what actually moves the needle. Ask yourself, what are the few things I can do today that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? Third, time block. Like your life depends on it. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Winging it is for amateurs. High achievers plan their day with intention. Work blocks, creative time breaks, even thinking time. Because if you don't control your calendar, distractions will. Fourth, embrace strategic no's. Every yes to a distraction, an obligation, or a time-wasting task is a no to your goals. High achievers aren't afraid to disappoint people to protect their time, not because they're rude, but because they know their future depends on what they don't do as much as what they do. Fifth, batch your tasks. Jumping from one thing to another kills productivity. Your brain needs momentum. Group similar tasks together, emails, meetings, focused work, and you'll reclaim hours of your life. 6, protect your energy, not just your time. It's not just about hours on the clock. It's about mental focus, physical vitality, and emotional clarity. High achievers don't just manage minutes, they manage their state. Sleep, exercise, mindset, it all fuels your ability to execute. And 7th, end your day with intention. Most people crash into bed overwhelmed, stressed, already behind on tomorrow. High achievers close their day with reflection and preparation. They celebrate wins. They review what worked, and they plan the next day, so they wake up already in control. Look, mastering your time isn't about being perfect. It's about consistency. It's about small intentional shifts that compound over time. And when you commit to these habits, you don't just get more done, you build the life you actually want. Time waits for no one. But when you master your time, you stop waiting and start leading. One, start your day on offense, not defense. Let's be real. Most people lose their day before they've even properly opened their eyes. The second that alarm goes off, what's the first thing they reach for? Their phone. And with that one tiny action, they've already handed over control of their mindset, their focus, and their energy to everyone else. The truth is, the way you start your day is one of the most underrated forms of self-respect and personal power you'll ever have. You either begin your day on offense with clarity, intention, and focus, or you start on defense reacting to every little notification, email, or demand that comes flying your way. The high achievers, they don't leave that up to chance. They guard their mornings like their life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two versions of yourself. One wakes up, rolls over, grabs the phone, and instantly gets sucked into messages, news, social media. Before your feet even hit the floor, you're already overwhelmed, distracted, and whether you realize it or not, playing catch up. The other version of you wake up with intention. No phone, no noise. You take a moment to breathe, stretch, get centered. Maybe it's a glass of water, a short journal entry, 5 minutes of movement, something small but deliberate that reminds you, I run this day. This day doesn't run me. The difference between those two mornings, it compounds over time. One builds anxiety, the other builds confidence. High achievers understand that the first 30 minutes of their day set the emotional and psychological tone for everything that follows. It's not about some rigid, unattainable morning routine. It's about taking back the steering wheel of your mind. It might mean leaving your phone in another room. It might mean setting your intentions with 3 clear priorities for the day. It might mean reading, journaling, meditating, exercising, whatever anchors you in purpose instead of reaction. Because here's the thing, when you start your day reacting, you stay reacting, you become a passenger, constantly pulled by other people's expectations, demands, and energy. But when you start with intention, you set the standard. You show yourself and the world that your time, your focus, and your energy are valuable. And that mindset, it doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your life. If you want to achieve more, stress less, and actually feel in control of your life, don't underestimate this simple shift. Protect your mornings, train your mind to lead, not follow. Because mastering a day doesn't start at 9 a.m. It starts the moment you open your eyes. To master the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. One of the greatest skills you can develop if you want to achieve more, stress less, and stop feeling like you're drowning in a never-ending to-do list is learning how to master the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've heard that before, but here's the brutal truth. Most people hear this concept, very few live it. And that's where high achievers set themselves apart. The 80-20 rule is simple in theory, but life-changing in practice. It states that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your actions. Meaning, not everything on your to-do list carries the same weight. Not all your daily efforts are equal. But here's where most people go wrong. They treat every task like it matters equally. They confuse being busy with being productive. They spend hours answering emails, tidying up files, micromanaging details, and then wonder why they still feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unfulfilled. High achievers think differently. They constantly ask themselves one simple, powerful question. What's the 20% of actions that create 80% of the progress in my life, my business, my relationships? It could be the critical phone call that unlocks a new opportunity, the deep work that moves your project forward, the workout that strengthens your energy, the honest conversation that improves your relationship. Everything else, noise, distractions, dressed up as productivity. You want to reclaim your time. Start getting ruthless about your 20%. Look at your day. Look at your week. What are the few vital actions that, if you committed to them consistently, would radically improve your results? The hard part, it means saying no to a lot of low-value tasks. It means getting comfortable with leaving some emails unanswered for a while. It means resisting the temptation to fill your day with easy, shallow wins, and instead focusing on what actually moves the needle. And when you live this way, you start to realize something powerful. Most of the things that stress you out aren't even essential. Most of the tasks draining your time aren't even producing real progress. Most of your mental energy has been wasted on the 80% that doesn't matter. But when you flip the script, When you pour your focus, your energy, your discipline into the 20% that does, suddenly you create more space, more momentum, more meaningful success. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things. The few essential actions that compound into results, confidence and freedom. Because high achievers, they don't work harder. They work smarter. They master their 20% and they let the rest fall away. That's how you go from overwhelmed to unstoppable. 3-time block like a pro. There's a reason why the phrase, if it's not scheduled, it doesn't exist, has become gospel among high achievers. Because the harsh reality is, if you rely on willpower or memory to get important things done, you're setting yourself up to fail. Think about it. How many times have you started the day with good intentions? You tell yourself, today's the day I finally get focused. Today I'll work on that project, make that call, hit the gym, and yet the day disappears. You get pulled into emails, social media, other people's demands, and suddenly it's bedtime and the important stuff, it's still undone. That's not a personal flaw. It's how life works when you operate reactively. But high achievers do something differently. They time block. Time blocking isn't about creating some rigid, suffocating schedule where every second is accounted for. It's about making space for the things that actually matter before life fills your day with distractions. Picture your calendar as a blank canvas. Left empty, other people's priorities will fill it for you. But when you block your time with intention, you design your day, you take back control. Here's how it works. You look at your priorities, the 20% of tasks that actually move your life forward, then you block dedicated, non-negotiable chunks of time for them on your calendar. Deep work, blocked. Creative focus, blocked. Exercise, blocked. Even breaks and thinking time, blocked. It doesn't mean you become robotic. It means you protect your most valuable resource, your focus. Because let's be honest, without boundaries, the world will eat your time alive. Time blocking helps you stay proactive, not reactive. It stops the constant context switching that kills productivity. It forces you to prioritize rather than cram tasks into every spare minute. And here's the powerful part. It builds momentum. When you know exactly what you're doing and when you're doing it, your brain relaxes. You stop wasting energy deciding what to focus on next. You simply execute. Is it perfect? No. Life happens. Things come up. But even if 70% of your time blocks go as planned, you'll still be miles ahead of the person who's winging it every day, hoping to magically find time for what matters. Time blocking creates clarity. It builds discipline. It protects your energy. And most importantly, it reminds you that you are the architect of your time, not a victim of it. If you want to master your day, if you want to stop feeling overwhelmed, distracted, or constantly behind, don't leave your calendar blank. Design your day with intention. Lock your time like a high achiever and watch your results and your confidence transform. 4, learn to say no strategically. One of the most overlooked yet powerful time management tools isn't a fancy app, a planner, or some new productivity system. It's one tiny 2-letter word, no. Most people treat their time like it's unlimited. They say yes to every request, every invitation, every distraction, and then wonder why they feel overwhelmed, resentful, and constantly behind. But high achievers, they understand something most people ignore. Every time you say yes to something low value, you're unconsciously saying no to your bigger goals. Think about that for a second. Every yes to a pointless meeting is a no to building your dream. Every yes to mindless scrolling is a no to your personal growth. Every yes to someone else's agenda is a no to your priorities. It's uncomfortable, right? Because saying no isn't easy. We're wired to want to please people, to avoid conflict, to feel needed. But the harsh truth is, if you don't get comfortable disappointing a few people, you'll end up disappointing yourself. High achievers protect their time fiercely. They've mastered the art of the strategic no and no. It doesn't mean they're selfish or cold. It means they're clear. They know what matters. They know where they're going. And they refuse to let distractions, obligations, or guilt pull them off track. It might mean saying no to that social event you don't actually want to attend. It might mean declining that project that looks good on paper, but doesn't align with your goals. It might even mean setting boundaries with people who constantly drain your energy. But here's the beautiful part. The more you say no to the wrong things, the more space you create for the right things. Your focus sharpens. Your energy increases. Your progress accelerates. And people start to respect you more. Why? Because they sense that you respect yourself. The ability to say no isn't about rejection. It's about alignment. It's about living your life with intention, not obligation. It's about recognizing that your time is your most precious resource and protecting it is not optional. It's essential. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You'll worry about disappointing people, but ask yourself, would you rather disappoint others temporarily or disappoint yourself permanently? Because every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you say yes to the life you actually want. That's the difference between busy people and high achievers. Busy people say yes to everything. High achievers say yes only to what matters and no to the rest. And that's how you create not just productivity, but pace. 5 batch similar tasks together. Let me share a little secret about productivity that most people completely overlook. It's not always about doing more. It's about how efficiently you do the things that actually need to get done. And one of the simplest yet most powerful hacks to reclaim your focus and your time is this: batch similar tasks together. Most people spend their day jumping from one thing to the next, answering an email here, making a quick phone call there, scrolling social media, trying to squeeze in some focused work in between distractions, and they wonder why they feel drained and frustrated by 3 p.m. Here's what they don't realize. Every time you switch tasks, your brain burns energy. It takes time to reset, refocus, and build momentum again. It's like trying to run a marathon, but stopping every 50 meters to tie your shoes. You never get into your stride. High achievers approach their day differently. They understand that momentum matters, that focus is fragile, and that the fastest way to get more done without sacrificing your energy is to group similar tasks together into dedicated time blocks. Let me give you some examples. Instead of replying to emails all day long, they set a 30-minute window twice a day and batch all their emails at once. Instead of having scattered meetings all over their calendar, they cluster them together so the rest of their day stays protected for deep, focused work. Instead of constantly checking their phone, they schedule short breaks to batch all their quick tasks, messages, social updates, admin, so it doesn't bleed into their important work time. This might sound simple, but it's a game changer because when you batch tasks, you minimize mental transitions, you reduce decision fatigue, you build rhythm, and suddenly what used to take hours gets done in half the time. But batching isn't just about productivity, it's about protecting your state. It keeps you out of the scattered, reactive, frazzled mindset that drains your energy. It helps you feel calmer, more organized, more in control of your day. And here's the unexpected benefit. It builds confidence. Because when your day flows smoothly, when tasks get completed efficiently, when your calendar feels intentional, not chaotic, stop feeling overwhelmed. And you start feeling capable of leading, capable of performing, capable of building the life you actually want. The truth is, batching isn't sexy. It's not some revolutionary, trendy productivity trick. But that's exactly why it works. It's simple, sustainable, proven. And if you consistently apply it, you'll be shocked by how much time, energy, and mental clarity you reclaim. So the next time you look at your never-ending to-do list, don't tackle it chaotically, group it, batch it,
Master it.
because life is complicated enough. Your workflow, that should be simple. 6, protect your energy, not just your time. We live in a world obsessed with time. Everyone's constantly trying to squeeze more hours out of the day, chasing the next productivity hack, the next shortcut to getting things done. But let me tell you something most people completely miss. Time management means nothing if your energy is depleted. Think about it. You can have the most color-coded schedule, the perfect calendar, the most optimized to-do list. But if you're running on fumes, burnt out, anxious, or mentally checked out, none of that structure matters. You won't show up as your best self. Not for your work, not for your relationships, and definitely not for yourself. High achievers understand this distinction better than anyone. They don't just manage their time, they fiercely protect their energy. And when I say energy, I'm not just talking about how physically tired you feel. I'm talking about the whole picture, your mental clarity, your emotional state, your resilience, your motivation, the stuff that fuels every action you take. The truth is, your energy is like your phone battery. If you're constantly running apps in the background, leaving notifications on full blast, draining your resources with no recharge, it doesn't matter how well you plan your day. You'll crash halfway through it. So what do high achievers do differently? First, they prioritize sleep unapologetically because they know sleep isn't a luxury, it's a performance tool. They fuel their bodies because you can't expect peak mental focus when you're running on caffeine and junk food. They create boundaries. They don't let every energy draining person, message, or problem steal their focus.
They schedule movement.
Because physical energy creates mental energy. And perhaps most importantly, they protect their mindset. They understand that negativity, comparison, and constant overthinking will sap their energy faster than any tough workload ever could. So they curate what they consume, they're mindful of who they spend time with, they work on their self-talk. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter how much time you save if you're showing up to your life exhausted, distracted, and emotionally depleted. But when you manage your energy intentionally, suddenly your hours stretch, your work improves, your confidence rises, and life feels less like a sprint and more like something you're actually in control of. Let me be blunt, if you've been feeling overwhelmed, constantly behind, or like you're stuck in survival mode, it's probably not your time management that's broken. It's your energy management. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to recharge smarter. Protect your energy. Guard it like your success depends on it, because it does. And when you do, you won't just master your schedule, you'll master your state. And that changes everything. 7, end the day with reflection and preparation. Most people end their day the same way they started it, unconsciously. They collapse into bed exhausted, mind racing, scrolling endlessly on their phone, already anxious about tomorrow. And then they wonder why they wake up stressed, unfocused, and behind before the day even begins. But the people who create real momentum in their lives, the ones who seem grounded, intentional, and strangely calm no matter how much they've got going on, they understand something most people completely overlook. The way you end your day is just as important as the way you start it. High achievers treat their evenings as sacred ground for 2 reasons: reflection and preparation. Let me break that down. First, reflection. It's so easy to bulldoze through life, constantly chasing the next task, the next win, the next responsibility, without ever pausing to ask the simplest yet most powerful questions. What did I learn today? What worked? What didn't? Where did I show up as the person I want to be? And where did I fall short? Those small, honest reflections build something far more valuable than a to-do list. They build self-awareness. And self-awareness, that's your ultimate shortcut to growth. It's what stops you repeating the same mistakes. It's what sharpens your confidence. It's what helps you evolve faster, smarter, with more intention. Second, preparation. You want to know one of the biggest sources of daily anxiety waking up to chaos, scrambling to figure out your priorities while the clock's already ticking. That's not just stressful, it's unnecessary. The most effective people in the world eliminate that chaos the night before. They take 10 minutes, just 10, to set themselves up for success. They review tomorrow's schedule. They choose their top 3 priorities. They set out their clothes, prep their environment, clear the mental clutter so that when the morning comes, they're not scrambling, they're leading. And no, this isn't about being perfect. Life will always throw curveballs. But when you reflect and prepare consistently, you meet those curveballs with clarity, not panic. It's like walking into a battlefield with your armor on versus showing up unprepared, hoping for the best. Here's the truth. No one tells you your evenings either drain you or they empower you. Scrolling mindlessly, it drains you. Replaying stressful conversations, it drains you. Worrying about tomorrow, it drains you. But when you replace that with a simple routine of reflection and preparation, you reclaim your evenings. You quiet your mind, you end the day with a sense of closure, and you start the next with purpose. It doesn't have to be complicated. 5 minutes of journaling, review your wins and lessons. Set your intentions for tomorrow. One down with intention, no screens, no noise, just space to breathe. Because success isn't built in the big flashy moments, it's built in the small, quiet habits that no one sees. And ending your day with reflection and preparation, that's one of the most powerful habits you'll ever master. It's not just how you close your day, it's how you open the door to your next level. If there's one truth I want you to take away from all of this, it's that mastering your life isn't about grand gestures. It's not about sudden overnight transformations or waiting for some perfect moment where everything magically clicks into place. It's about small intentional choices stacked, repeated, refined, day after day. When you control your mouth, you control your words, your influence, your connections. When you control your mind, you control your beliefs, your focus, your reality. When you control your mood, you control your state, your energy, your resilience. When you control your money, you control your freedom, your opportunities, your future. And when you close each day with reflection and preparation, that's how you stay in the driver's seat, not just reacting to life, but leading it. Most people drift through life, handing over their power to circumstance, to other people, to distractions. But that's not going to be your story, because now you know better. You know that transformation happens when you stop living on autopilot. When you speak with intention, when you sharpen your mind, when you protect your emotions, when you respect your resources, and when you take time every single day to reflect, to realign, and to step into the next day prepared, focused, and grounded. Is it always easy? No. But is it worth it? Every single time. Because when you master these areas, you don't just change your schedule, you change your confidence.
You change your peace.
You change your life. It starts with you. It starts today. Now go lead it.